Pognon Quainadishnakas Mungdodam. Hi, everybody. Once again, I'm Sandy Boucher, Red Thunderbolt Woman of the Loon Clan, and I'm a proud member of Seine River First Nation in Northern Ontario. And I'm here once again as your facilitator of the path away from lateral violence. I want to do what I call a mental health check-in. How are you doing? I know from past experience and having done seminars for well over a decade now that when we're talking about Black, Indigenous, or people of color, and even to a large extent any woman from any cultural background, any oppressed people, in other words, when they're exposed to this type of information, it can be triggering for them. It can be emotionally upsetting. And if that's happened to you, I hope you took the time, practiced some self-care, but also did some reflecting. I truly believe that when something triggers us, it's an opportunity to deal with the baggage that has come up. That doesn't happen until you're ready enough to deal with it. You don't even think of these things. And that's why baggage seems to come out of left field when we thought we were healed, because we're now healed enough to deal with this last piece, that god-awful Speedo that's in our suitcase. So if that's happened to you, one, I hope you took the time to reflect, to take care of yourself, to practice some self-care. But then I hope you came back to the course, because we have so much more to discuss. By now, I have no doubt in my mind you're screaming, enough already! Enough with the history, enough with the terms, I'm getting depressed here. How do we fix that? Rest assured, that's what we're focusing on from now on. From now on, for the rest of this video seminar course, we are focused on the way out, the steps we have to take to move past our history to the amazing future that we all deserve, past violence, past oppression, and past poverty. In 2019, I released my latest book entitled The Path: Communication Strategies for the Reconciliation Era. This was a how-to manual, the steps that Indigenous and non-Indigenous people have to take in Canada to get us to reconciliation. Because if you read the book, you quickly realize we're not even close to being able to reconcile yet. The book lays out a distinct path for Indigenous people and for non-Indigenous people. And when I wrote it, I knew that those paths could apply to so much more than Canadian reconciliation. We are going to use it as the base for the rest of this seminar, but the paths have different names now. Now we're looking at the path for the person who is trying to heal, and the path for the healer or the helper, which is you. Now in the book, I used the medicine wheel to illustrate the paths for Indigenous and non-Indigenous people. I've used the same illustrations to highlight the paths for the healing and the helpers. Over the course of the next few videos, we're going to go through every stage in detail. And we're going to start with the path for the healing. In the book, I also introduced what I call the 4 sacred tools. These are traits or habits that I believe will help you to improve any relationship, especially the most challenging ones. If you're trying to reconcile with your past or another person, these are the tools you use. Now, I don't know about you, but when I take a training course, whether it's live or on video, the biggest challenge for me is always to remember the information. I want to use it, but if you can't remember it, how am I supposed to do that? Well, I made it incredibly easy for you to remember the 4 sacred tools. All you have to do is remember the word path. P-A-T-H. The P stands for patience. It took us generations to get here, generations for our communities to end up in the state they're in, generations for our families to accumulate all the challenges we're now trying to overcome. As our elders say, this is not going to be solved in one generation, and it's not going to be solved by next Tuesday, no matter how good you are at your job. So please remember that. Have patience. Maybe you're not going to take a step forward today. Maybe you're not going to be able to help that woman to heal today, but have patience. Your words may affect her in a positive way years from now. Please always remember to have patience. The A stands for awareness, and that's awareness of both sides of the coin. You need to be aware of what's going on for people that don't look like you, especially if you're not Black, Indigenous, or a person of color. Your cultural lens, your way of looking at the world, your experiences may be completely different from the person you're trying to help. And you need to be aware and accept what their outlook is based on their experiences. And equally as important, you need to be aware of what's going on for you. As I mentioned in the beginning, if something is triggering you, you need to identify that and own that and acknowledge it. You need to practice self-care, and you need to reflect and learn and ask for help when needed to help you move past that. Awareness is essential at all times, right up there with patience. And that's why it's the second of the sacred tools. The T in the word path stands for tenacity, which is just a fancy way of saying don't give up. Take the break if you need it. If you get frustrated or if you get triggered, take that time away. Go for a walk. Take a deep breath. Accept that maybe you're not going to be able to move the needle today, but don't give up. We can't give up if we want things to change. So take a deep breath, take that rest, rejuvenate, and then try again, because that's what tenacity is all about. The fourth sacred tool, the H in the word path, stands for humility. It is the hardest of the tools to remember and practice. Western society teaches that you must be better than the next person, that you must know the answer. And that's not going to help when we're talking about reconciling with a violent past or with a new future. We need to adopt the mindset of the eternal student. Yes, you carry wisdom. Yes, you have valuable things to share, but so does everyone else in the room. And humility allows us to all grow our wisdom. That's why humility is one of the sacred tools. And there you have it, my friends, the 4 sacred tools: patience, awareness, tenacity, and humility. With these tools in our backpack, we are ready to start down the path to healing. For those men and women that we work with, we are ready to become the most effective helpers that we can possibly be. Armed with our newly discovered sacred tools, next week we begin the journey on the path for the healing as we look at the requirements outlined in stage 1. Until then, take care of you. Bye-bye.